Today on Comm Talk, we will be talking about anime.
Captain, we have a proximity alert with the planet Geekery. We are approaching collision.
Quicks, get somebody on the comms, enter in the security code.
257. Security code accepted.
Hello, devoted geeks, and welcome to episode 34 of Comm Talk, the podcast extension of Geek Devotions, the YouTube show from a couple of devoted geeks that are devoted to letting people know that they are loved. I am Celeste, and today we have a very fun, very special guest with us. Why don't you introduce yourself, super special guest?
Hello, I am Bex from the Redeemed Otaku Podcast.
Yay!
Thank you so much for having me on.
Well, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. We like talking to people.
Awesome.
It's fun.
I enjoy it too.
So, okay, well, in continuation with our theme of the month, which is Women's Month, we are going to be talking about being a geeky girl, having to deal with the stereotypes that geeky girls tend to have to deal with. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to talk about what we're geeking out about, and then we're going to tell you where to find Bex. So, that being said, let's get into this. Being a geeky girl.
Bum, bum, bum.
I always picture the what is it, a lemur from the Croods was Belt.
Yeah.
It would do the thing.
I don't watch American cartoons, sorry.
That's okay. The only reason I watched that one, because it had no interest to me, was because I have little brothers.
Oh,
so,
there you go.
Yeah,
I can see that.
My little brothers are like really little, so at the time it came out, they were in love with it, and I'm like, really? We're watching this? Okay.
Oh wait, is that even a cartoon? Or is that the claymation?
It was a movie.
Yeah? I don't know.
I really wasn't paying that much attention. I just, the little creature whose name was Belt and held the guy's pants up.
Oh. Wow.
Alrighty
then.
It was an interesting, it looked like Zaboomafoo.
Okay.
Which, if you grew up in the 90s, or were around in the 90s, you know what that was. Okay. So, obviously, anime is your thing. What are some of your top animes that you're into? Or mangas?
Oh, okay. All right.
Anime or mangas,
well,
either.
In the manga department, I don't have much, simply because I don't have time, or I haven't allocated funds to go and purchase manga. Yes. And I am a collector, so I know you can get manga, digitally, but I want the real thing. So
yes.
That's something that I haven't really jumped into, even though I do have some manga. But anime. Oh, top anime. Oh, see, this wasn't on the list of, questions. I didn't have this prepared.
Well, okay, let's rephrase it. What would you suggest someone watch that doesn't necessarily watch anime?
Okay. Well, I would definitely recommend the show Erased. Yep, I know you guys watch that. Because the reason why is it doesn't require any knowledge of Japanese culture in order to get what's going on. And it's a great kind of entry into the anime. The animes.
The animes. The world of anime.
The world of anime. Yeah.
So, I like that one. That one's a really good one. We actually introduced she's kind of like our niece.
Mm-hmm.
She's like 17 years old. We were like, hey, you would enjoy this. She's like, it's a cartoon. We were like, no, you're going to enjoy this.
Mm-hmm.
So we described the first episode to her, and she then proceeded to binge it over Christmas break and finised it.
Yeah.
And then was mad because she went to watch the Netflix version and was like, nope, can't do it. And was done. She still hasn't watched it.
That's
We're
awesome.
Like, it's okay. They can change things. No, they can't. We've created a monster, guys.
So I guess going back to my top anime, my favorite would have to be Sailor Moon, simply because that's kind of what I grew into anime, or that's kind of the show that developed my love for anime. But if I had to list off a handful of anime as my top, I'd say Wolf's Rain, Steins Gate, 12 Kingdoms, Noir,
Basically all of them.
Yeah, exactly. And as far as Miyazaki is concerned, Princess Mononoke, Spirited Away, those are some excellent choices there. So yeah, so there you go. There's a handful.
I think Howl's Moving Castle was my first official anime, and I didn't realize it was an anime because I'll watch cartoons.
Yeah,
like I am not ashamed. I will watch the little kid cartoon as long as it's interesting enough.
For sure.
So, thank you, little brothers. But so I was like, okay, let's watch this movie. It sounds interesting, and we watched it, and I was obsessed. Didn't realize that the studio had done so much more.
Yeah.
Until like maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So I've slowly been on this hunt of finding movies and watching them. We just watched My Neighbor Totoro maybe 6 months ago.
Yes, that's a good one.
And I'm obsessed, and Dallas is like, it's weird because it's like you've always loved it the way you like it. And I'm like, that's because I have always loved it. I just didn't know I loved it.
Yep. Yes.
So what do you think is your favorite thing about being geeky or being otaku or whatever your genre of geekness is?
So I lean towards being an introvert. So I don't typically, like to go out and socialize on my own. And my husband's my crutch. So if he doesn't drag me along, I'm not going out and socializing.
I can understand this.
Yeah. But one thing I discovered when I went to an anime con for the first time was just the acceptance of everyone around you wanting to talk to you, especially if you had a shirt or were dressed up, of a fandom that they loved. They would just come up and talk to you. Oh, wasn't this a great show? And yes, I know, I loved it. And if you're an introvert and you have a passion about something, you are going to be talking about that to anyone and everyone. So I think that's what's great about being a geeky girl is it helps me not be an introvert. And I get to meet a bunch of wonderful people and connect with them on a level that typically I wouldn't really care about. So, yeah.
I can completely understand that. I'm very, very similar. Although I hit a point eventually where I'm like, okay, I'm done with the peoples. Let's go home now. I need my house.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I need my cats.
Yes. If we had cats, that's what I'd be saying. Currently, I need my stuffed animals because we have these animals that we treat as our pets. We just don't have to feed them.
Oh, there you go. There you go. You don't have to clean up after them.
True. It's a plus.
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever run into any of the stereotypes that we discussed earlier? The like you're into it because you're not really into it, you're just into it because everyone else is into it, or I'm trying to think of some of the others off the top of my head. They left my brain. They went wee. Or you're only into it because you're trying to get a guy. You're only into it because your dad was into it, which I run into a lot with. I'm a big Star Trek fan, but I'm also a big Star Wars fan, which my dad is both. So I have a lot of knowledge because my dad likes to talk. And I listen because I'm quiet. He's not.
Yeah.
It works.
It works. Uh-huh.
So when I get started talking on those topics, everyone's like, oh, you're just into it because your dad's into it. And I'm going, to an extent, but if you know me, you know that if I didn't really like it, I would just be like, okay, Dad, that's cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but have you ever run into any of that in the anime world?
Not so much. And it might be because I'm a little bit older than the typical anime fan right now, because I came into it, in my teens in the mid-90s, so there wasn't anime cons, at least none near me. I did go to a Comic Con with my boyfriend, and that was super fun. that's a story for another time. Since we're talking about anime.
Story for another day. No, we can go into that if you'd like.
Okay. Well, I'll tell it because it's actually kind of fun. So, let's see. Yeah, it was kind of early mid 90s. I don't remember the exact year, but my boyfriend wanted, he kind of roped me into like the comic book world and everything, and I already liked animation, so it wasn't like he had to,
had to use too much rope.
He didn't have to pull very hard to drag me into comics, right? So, cat's gonna knock something down. Okay, there you go. Sorry. Okay, so back to the story. So, and I was raised Baptist, and we can't just go on our own. We had to have a chaperone, right?
Right.
So we decided, well, my little sister, who was 10 years younger than me, so say I was 16, 17 at the time, she's like 6 or 7, okay? So she's our chaperone going to the Chicago Comic-Con.
Oh my gosh, how did you not lose her?
Oh man. So we had our comics because we knew which artists were going to be there. And when you're going through the line, you could only have them sign 10 comics a person, right? So I had a stack, my boyfriend had a stack, but then we had extras. So we're like, here you go, Bonnie. You get to hold 10 of these.
Here.
Yeah. So
hold these until the nice man signs them.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going through the line of Mark Silvestri, and it was during the launch of Witchblade, which was a huge hit. Okay, yeah, all right. So
remind me to tell you a story about that here in a second.
Okay, all right. So we've got, I've got my Witchblade comics. I don't remember what my boyfriend had or what we gave my little sister to hold. But as we're coming through, Mark Silvestri's signing the comics, and he looks down at my little sister, and he's like, oh, hi, how are you? She's like, I'm fine. He goes, which one is your favorite character? And she says, all of them. Because, she has no clue what she's doing, who these guys are. She has no clue. She hasn't read any of these.
She probably hasn't read many books at that point.
No, it was fantastic. It was awesome. And the smile on Mark Silvestri's face was golden because he knew exactly what we were doing and, and enjoyed the interaction with my little sister. So there you go.
That's fun. So I was not introduced to Witchblade when it came out. But Dallas's sister Demara, who was on the podcast last week, owns the entire series. And so when his younger sister came and stayed with us, the first summer she came and stayed with us, she comes and goes to camp. So she came and stayed with us for about a month, and we binged the Witchblade.
Yeah.
All month long.
Yeah.
And so, Dallas would come home and be like, what are y'all doing? We're like, folding clothes. We folded maybe one and have 3 loads because something got intense and we forgot what we were doing.
We had to finish it.
We have to finish before she goes home. So
yeah,
it was interesting. I have a special love, but it's also fairly new for me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it was fun. It's fun, always fun to watch things from the 90s now because you're like, oh, that's funny.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not supposed to be, but it is.
So back to the stereotypes.
Yes.
So back then, I really I wasn't involved there wasn't an anime community. The internet was barely a thing. It was dial-up.
Yes.
So, and even if I had known about chat rooms and things like that, I didn't have the capability to be involved in that type of thing. So I guess my experience is a little bit different. I got married soon after, graduating from college. So I got my husband. I didn't have to be a geek in order to get my husband. He kind of was like, oh, this girl is a geek. I'm going to marry her. So, and yeah, I guess that's it. I haven't really run into any stereotypes or tropes or anything like that, or preconceived ideas of my fandom. So.
Nice. Well, good. I'm glad. Okay, we are going to take a short break, and then we will come back and be talking about what we are currently geeking out about. Hey.
Are you a new business or ministry and need help getting your message out? Are you a budding artist who needs help sharing your passion with the world? Need help creating a social media presence that's impactful and represents who you are, but can't afford to have someone else run it for you all the time? One of my passions is to help people establish a social media presence so they can reach others with a message that encourages and changes lives. Not only do I want to help you create it, but I want to give you the skills so that you can maintain and grow your online presence. I offer a variety of services from graphic design to creating a social media campaign to consultation. If you're interested in my help, email me at geekdevotions@gmail.com. I look forward to hearing from you.
Welcome back to Comm Talk. We are about to move on to the subject of what we are currently geeking out about with our good friend Bex. So I'll go first since you had to go first for the last one.
Okay.
I've been doing a lot of Netflix shows, and so I just finished all of Alias Grace in like 2 days.
Oh, wow.
So we had a couple really, really slow days at work where it was like there was no one there. And I was like, okay, well, when a patient comes in, I'll turn this off. 3 episodes later, a patient came in.
Wow. So what is this show about? I don't know what this is.
It is about, it's a Netflix original based off of a book.
Okay.
And which usually piques my interest. My first geekdom fandom was, other than Disney princesses, was books.
Nancy Drew here.
Oh yeah. Did you read the original ones? Like
No.
not the new updated ones?
No, I tried to read those, but yeah, no, it was more of the modern ones in the 90s that I was
Gotcha.
reading.
I read all of the original ones in order, and then we ran out of what we had. My grandmother used to own a bookstore, so she had all of them.
Wow.
So I read quite a few.
That's awesome.
But back to the show. It's about this lady who they're trying to determine if she was a participant in these murders.
Okay.
But it's like back in the 1800s.
Oh.
So you have 3 options. Either she did it and she's snowing everybody. She didn't do it or did it only because someone was forcing her to help them. Or she's crazy.
Okay.
So the whole series, it has the very much mystery sense to it because you're trying to figure out what's going on. And then the psychiatrist that's coming to evaluate her is trying to determine what actually happened. And he's getting all these other sources, and then he's talking to her. And then she's doing the voiceover, writing a letter to him. And it's very intriguing. So I always like a good mystery though. But very intriguing.
Okay.
So past that, I haven't really been doing much of anything else except for reading the original Miss Marvel on our Marvel Unlimited, which was, she became Captain Marvel, but this is like back before she became Captain Marvel.
Okay.
She had longer hair. And then watching my British cooking show.
Okay.
I have a wide variety of things that I do.
Yeah. So let's see, what have I been geeking out about? I've been recently trying to catch up on anime shows that I've missed in the past. So Full Metal Alchemist is one of them.
Oh, yes, I've heard that one's good.
When it was airing on Toonami or whatever, I was in college, so Bible college means no access to internet, things like that.
Yes.
So I missed it. And they've just recently put it back on Netflix, the original one, because I want to watch it the way it was released. I want to watch the original one, then Brotherhood. So I have to get through the original one. And I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I do. So
that's always a nice surprise, though.
Yes. It's really good, and I'm finding that I want to watch more than 1 or 2 episodes a day, but I don't have the time, unfortunately. So that's one of the things that I've been enjoying. Also, so I really like Legos, and I had some money from Christmas, some Amazon money. And normally when I get Amazon money, I go and buy some anime Blu-rays to add to my collection. So Miyazaki, whatever, because I'm a collector, right? Well, I bought some Legos today. So there's been...
Did you buy one of the sets, or did you just buy mass Legos?
No, I definitely like the sets, specifically anything that has to do with airplanes.
Oh, yeah.
So I bought an airport air show set, which I know it's getting close to being discontinued. So I knew if I didn't snatch it up now, that the price would double within a few months. So I went ahead and bought that. It'll be coming here in a couple days, and I can't wait to put it together. So, and then during the Super Bowl, they announced that there's going to be new Jurassic Park Lego sets, which I bought the old set when the first movie came out, the Jurassic Park movie, not the Jurassic World, because Jurassic World is one of my favorite movie franchises, and we can go on about that too. So I'm really super excited to start collecting that set once it's released. Yay!
Yes, that sounds like fun. You sound a lot like Dallas. He likes to get entire sets of things. We have been together 7 years. When we first started dating, he told me, I have this collection of this old cartoon I used to watch. And it was Voltron.
Yeah.
And he's like, I have all 4 except for the black lion in the metal case.
I don't get it.
And he's like, I haven't been able to find it. So I made it my mission to find it.
Oh, nice.
Have not been able to find it with the box. I still haven't been able to find it with the box. His mom comes in and it's like, oh, you want this? Let me work my mystical ways. Because, she's the queen of finding things.
Okay.
And she gets it for him for Christmas. And he was like, he sat down and watched all of it. But he was not happy until we had the exact one. Because, well, what about this one? It's the same series, but it's not the same box.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I totally get that. Mm-hmm.
I'm the same way though. I have a couple books on my Kindle, and then I have in the same series some actual books, and now I want all the actual books because I want to have them where I can hold them and smell them and read them.
Yes. Oh,
because new book smell is one of the best things ever.
It's so hard being a geek sometimes.
I know. It's hard being a geek responsibly.
Responsibly, that's the key word there.
I could get a lot of stuff if I didn't pay my bills.
Oh, yes. It'd be dangerous.
It would be. And then there would be things like, no electricity and homelessness going on.
And no food in the house.
Which sometimes is more a matter of you just haven't gone grocery shopping.
Inside joke.
We may or may not explain that. Okay, well, how can our devoted geeks find you if they want to hear more of you?
Okay, well, we do have a Facebook page, Redeemed Otaku. Just look us up there. And our podcast currently airs on iTunes. I am looking for expanding on other avenues, but right now we're on iTunes. If you don't have iTunes, you can go to the Libsyn.com site, and you can either listen directly from there or download the MP3. But that's redeemedotaku.libsyn.com. You can also email us at redeemedotaku@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you.
Yay! So Dallas loves listening to y'all's podcast.
Oh, I really appreciate it.
So I don't get to listen to it because I'm one of those that I don't have iTunes on my Kindle, which is where I currently listen to my podcasts. So, but eventually one day when I get a phone with a headphone jack that works, this will be a thing.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention we're also on Twitter. You can follow us on Instagram. We post pictures every once in a while. But yeah, so there you go. We're trying to expand into YouTube and Google and all those other places. So hopefully within the next month or two, we'll see some of that come to fruition.
Nice. Now, on your podcast, is it just you, or do you have a group of people that are talking with you?
Well, right now we kind of have a little bit of guest spots coming in. The one of my most regular ones right now is Emmy Griffin. Mm-hmm. So she's been helping me out, and definitely we're going to keep her coming back because she's very entertaining. So
entertaining is always a plus.
And my brother will soon be joining me here pretty soon with an episode coming up in March. So yeah, look forward to that.
Yay, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much for coming on, Bex.
Thank you for having me. It was a joy.
Yay. And for those of you who just listened to our podcast and do not check out our YouTube, you really should check it out this week because Bex has done a devotion for us, and it is really, really good. And it's about Sailor Moon, and it's awesome. Like, I was laughing. When I was listening to it, I was getting ready for work, and I was running around, and I would laugh, and Dallas would be like, well, what'd she say? And like, you're going to have to listen to it, because there's just too much.
Good.
But it was good. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to Comm Talk today. If you have loved this episode, head on over to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It is very much appreciated. Until next Sunday, stay devoted, peace and love.
Peace and love.